All right. Firstly, this is not clickbait in any way. I promise, however long this video ends up being, at the end of it, I'm not going to be like, so in conclusion, I'm actually just going to take a gap year and apply next year for residency. Like, there are zero residency plans in my future. And in this video, I'm going to tell you all about it. So, we're going to cover how it started. So, basically, the reason I'm not applying to residency is because I started a business, and I'm going to tell you all about how that got started, how I earn income from my business, when/how I made the decision. We'll talk a little bit about whether I will like stay in the same like niche or topic for my business, or what my ideas are for other things and why. Plans after I graduate. I have a husband, George, and I, so like where we want to go afterwards, what we're thinking, my 5-year vision, and then we'll talk about goals, 2025 and 5-year goal for my business, basically, so that when I hit those goals, I can then take a screen recording from today, which I'm filming October 20th of 2024, and then I can be like, look, I said I was going to do that goal, and now I've made it. So anyway, okay. This is also the 6th YouTube video that I have batched today. It's the last of my list. So my voice, I don't know if I have enough voice to share all the details. Just kidding. Yes, I do. I'm just getting real cozy because we got a lot to cover. Okay. So, hey, I'm Maggie, 4th-year medical student at the University of Colorado. I started this whole It's Life by Maggie business the summer before I basically started medical school, or that's when I created my course Road to Acceptance, which is like really like the reason I have a business and the main income driver. But it all really, like, actually, It's Life by Maggie started when I was sitting in the ambulance and I came across by Sophia Lee's income report of how she made $12,000 from her blog in like June of 2020 or something. It's not even up anymore. She only has like 2 more up now because she now has 4 7-figure businesses that all started from the blog. She no longer shares detailed income reports because she makes millions and because she has 4 separate businesses. But in 2020, I stumbled upon that like one income report and I was like, whoa. So I was 2 weeks out from taking the MCAT, and I have a very obsessive personality. So I was like, okay, Maggie, let's chill the frick out because I know how this is about to be. I'm going to dive into this, become obsessed, and like work on it obsessively. But I need to take the MCAT first. So I like pumped the brakes and I was like, let's get past this MCAT and then we can dive into this. And then I think I made it like a little bit and I ended up diving into it a little bit before I took it. But I was so super ready because it was during COVID. My first test date got pushed back and I was like, please let me take this thing. Like I was scoring, I was like ready. I was like, I'm gonna crush it. Let's go. Like just let me take it. So I think I did end up starting all this a little bit before I took the test date, but I took the MCAT, and then after that, I really dove into creating my website. It's lifebymaggie.com. And I won't go into like the month by month breakdown, but so a little bit fast forward, I started a YouTube shortly after that, and then an Instagram shortly after that. And the blog kind of never really became a blog that earns income. Like that's still something we're finally tackling and getting closer to that goal. But for the first like 4 years, 3 to 4 years, 3 years of my business, the blog was never actually like never became an income driver. But my Instagram and YouTube, I had a couple successful YouTube videos, so I've like stuck with that. I stuck with it really well the first year of med school where I did vlogs of med school life. And then the Instagram, that's kind of the thing that has really like grown my business and made my business successful was the Instagram. So it started with a blog because of that income report and that's what Sophia Lee did, but then like the thing that stuck through all of those three social media platforms was and now is the Instagram. So that's where it started. Income report from Sophia Lee. Fun fact, I actually like that was the summer, so that fall I was actually like there's not enough pre-meds in the world. I had like maybe a few hundred or like 1,000 pre-med or like followers on my Instagram, and I was like it's never going to grow, like this is I just like basically quit because I was like I'm never going to grow, which is so dumb looking back. I quit that and I started Little House on the Terrace, where I started like doing decor blog posts and things like that. And so I started an Instagram and a website for that. and totally like never planned to do It's Life by Maggie again after that. But after a few months, I was in the middle of an application cycle and I had all these interviews. I had 13 interviews and like I just wanted to share everything. So I think like wanting to share all that is what got me back into my It's Life by Maggie. I rejoined my account after a few months of like total hiatus, wanting to do a totally different niche and topic. And then from then on, that like restart, I've never really looked back since with my Instagram. And now I've grown to 62,000 at the time that I am recording this. So then that was like, okay, I started growing my Instagram the year before, like while I was applying, like during the application cycle, just sharing everything. And then I learned about this whole like passive income with like creating online courses and just really like found that world. And I took this course that like taught me how to create a course and taught me how to like sell it when it actually wasn't created yet, but then like every 2 weeks you can come out with the module and kind of create it live with that first like group of like founding students. So that's what I did the summer before I started med school. Every 2 weeks I was like creating a brand new module for my course Road to Acceptance. So I created it over the span of maybe like 2-ish months. So I beta launched it like in the spring or something, created it over the summer, and then that was finished and completed, and then I started medical school. So during medical school, I continued to like, I brought this other course. Actually, that was my third course on creating courses. The first one was great, and that's like the reason I knew how to like do that and create it, and it helped me like create really good support resources and stuff. The second course I bought, I had learned about like having an evergreen course and blah blah blah. Long story short, it was 20 in total $20,000 and I went into over $20,000 of credit card debt. I have now paid that off. During like first year of med school, I got the third course, the Better Course Digital Course Academy from Amy Porterfield. I like her teaching was like make your free content so good. They're like, wow, like I can't imagine what the paid is. And this second course lady, she's like, don't give them too much info in the free content because you want them to buy your paid content. And so I felt so cringe about the like workshop that I created through her course. And after like 1 week of it being live, I shut it down. I was like, I hate this. I hate this lady for taking all my money. And well, this sucks. But I had known about Digital Course Academy. This is going to be real rambly, guys. So I hope you got a good drink. I had known about Digital Course Academy, but it only opens in September. So like I was like, I can't wait that long to create my course, like or put it on Evergreen. I'm going to be a med student. I wanted it to be done before I started med school. So I got this other course and it sucked. But luckily, like there is a lot of tech that goes into it, and so at least that was done before med school. Even though I ended up scrapping the actual workshop, so I was in a ton of debt, but somehow I guess paid $2,000. Well, maybe I wasn't in a lot of debt yet because it was monthly payments for that second course. So I actually did have the money to pay the $2,000 for DCA and then created this epic workshop that I'm so proud of and has basically been selling my course on autopilot since my first year of med school. Yeah, it's pretty amazing. Like Digital Course Academy quite literally changed my life, and I would not be saying I'm not going to residency if it weren't for Digital Course Academy. So next category, how I earned income. The main way, like 90% of my income is from Road to Acceptance, which is a like $500 course, $597, and yeah, I like send traffic to the registration page of that free workshop, and then I give them 45 minutes of free, super valuable, like super proud of all that free content. Like it's amazing free workshop for 45 minutes, and then at the end I offer like they can enroll in my course. So that's how I make income, and that's the main income driver. But a second big chunk of my income, like I'll do separate, like how much I made in 2024 or something. Like I did one for other years. Um, but the second big chunk of my income is actually through brand deals. So like I don't consider myself an influencer whatsoever because my main way of making money is through online courses, not brand deals. But that is the second biggest chunk. So for example, in 2023, I think I made like 190,000 if I remember correctly. Um, and 68,000 of that was from brand deals, and outside of that 68,000, I'm sure like 98 to 99% was Road to Acceptance sales. Maybe not quite that high, but like that's how I'm actually trying to diversify in my income because that's how much I make from just Road to Acceptance. But that is a pretty big, I mean, $68,000. That's pretty insane. So of course I'm a serial course taker. I enrolled in a course, Network to Net Worth, which actually no longer exists anymore. But that's how I learned how to pitch brands, how to create brand reels, how to find their contact info, how to like charge for brand deals. And now we're at the point where we charge like upwards of $2,000 for like one reel on Instagram. So clearly, like, it's not high volume, it's that I charge a lot because I've been able to build my social media. So that's the second biggest chunk of income. As far as other types of income, like we're working on, is going back to day one of the whole thing. Like this all started from my blog, and there are people making seven figures from just a website. So if you look up any recipes, like your favorite food blogger, like Half Baked Harvest or something, you go and you look at the recipe website, and there's all these like annoying pop-ups, like with the X's and the blah blah blah. Those people are making millions. I cannot even imagine how much Half Baked Harvest blog makes, but in order to so our goal is Mediavine. That's what Sophia Lee uses. And like if you go to her website, you'll see the little ads. They're not as annoying. I feel like it's the food blogs specifically that are like really crazy, especially if you're on your phone. But yeah, like if you go to buy Sophia Lee's site, you'll see those little ads. So that's Mediavine. And to qualify for Mediavine, you have to get 50,000 sessions per month. And Mediavine has been on my vision board for the last 3 years in a row, but this year we were actually like taking enough action to make it like we're getting really close. We're actually halfway there right now where we have 25,000 sessions per month. So, as far as how I earn income, that is one like big way I'm hoping to add income in the future. Okay, so I'm going to talk more medicine after the business, but one more business thing I wanted to mention was just like if I'll stick with pre-med stuff, like right now my niche is helping pre-meds get into medical school. Like that's what Road to Acceptance is. Super proud of it. It's awesome. Like it's one of the best, like biggest accomplishments of my entire life was making that course, like truly. But now, the problem is that that course is like 597. Like, sure, if we have Black Friday or something, or there's like a deal or something, maybe $100 off. So let's just say it's $500. I'm fine with it being at $500 or full price 597. Could I charge 2,000, 3,000 for it? Sure. Like literally, I know of one other person in my space that does. Um, I won't say it. Okay, we'll just move on. But I personally will not, and it's not even about like, oh, but there's so many people who wouldn't be able to afford that, obviously. But it's like, okay, there's a lot of people who could afford that, but I do not care. Like, I just don't think that it should cost thousands of dollars to get help to apply to medical school. Like, I didn't have that money. I don't care if other people do. If they have the money to charge $3,000 or pay $3,000, then they can get one-on-one support. Like, and or they can still buy Road to Acceptance, only $500. I don't care if they have more to spend. Like it just gives me the ick to ever charge thousands of dollars if it's anything related to pre-meds. Because I was a pre-med and I just won't do it. I refuse. But with my income goals that I'll share at the end, a $500 course isn't really how you get to $1 million business. So that's my current dilemma is like, okay, I like seven figures is like the whole point of quitting medicine. I'm going to have a seven-figure business. Um, so ideally, like a way that a lot of people get there is by having high ticket offers where they charge 2,000 or 5,000. So it's in the back of my mind to like maybe switch to a different niche related to like I've obviously been very successful growing my social media, or there's a lot of like specific things in business, like I'm obsessed with analytics and like specific things I'm really good at within my business that I could like switch to that niche. But I've told myself that I'm not really going to do that until I've like hit some major milestones with my current business, because shiny object syndrome is like the number one way to not have a successful business at all or like never hit your goals. So I'm trying to stay away with that. Um so yeah, I'm never going to create any high ticket offers for my current niche, but I am brainstorming how I can have high ticket offers in other areas because I would like to charge people $2,000 to $5,000. I would happily do that. I just will not do it for pre-meds or pre-meds parents or anybody, just not in that niche. I just won't. So those are my thoughts on that. Okay. When/how I came to the decision. Um, when would be okay. Let's take it to January of 2024 because that's when I was between orthopedic surgery and taking a gap year to do research for a year to build my application to be able to apply to ortho, or OB, because I loved OB. That was like the best and still love it. Or wait, in January, I don't, or, and then like the third option was like family medicine just to be board certified, and it's the shortest, versus maybe I don't do medicine at all. Yeah, I was thinking that. So I guess there's four things. It was like ortho, OB. No, I don't think OB was a thing. Let's just, let's say ortho, fam med, nothing. Because I think at that point I was more interested in ortho. And I applied for a research year. There's this really cool one in Vail that I was super excited for. It's something like they like have robots. They they order, what's it called? Okay, they order joints like an ankle. They literally like order a cadaver ankle. They put it on a robot and they have it run a marathon, and then they like do surgery on it, and they do something with like an ACL repair or something. Okay, and I was like, that's so cool, and I like wanted it. I applied, but then I also had this second research year opportunity that was like more on like in Denver Health Aurora campus area. And so basically, I got so hooked on that one that I didn't get the Vail research year, but they're like, all right, when can you start this other one? And I was like, I don't want to do that one. I only wanted to do the Vail one. And I was basically like, okay, if like like I said from the beginning, I have a very obsessive personality. If I want something, I will do it. Like no questions asked, and there will be no looking back. Like, let's go, it's go time. But that's for things I'm like super passionate about. So clearly I wasn't passionate enough about ortho to do the second like best research option. I just wanted to do this cool sounding, like who doesn't want to go to Vail and like do surgeries on cadavers with, and like learn ortho surgeries, like, so it clearly wasn't about ortho. So basically when I didn't get that research year, a lot kind of changed. So then I was like, all right, it's literally family medicine, or I'm not going to apply to any specialty, because I don't know why OB was, I really don't know why OB was out of the picture at this point. I think the point is I wanted to do surgery. Like I came to med school because I wanted to do surgery. I wanted to be an orthopedic surgeon, have a private practice, and then teach women in medicine, like other orthopedic women surgeons, how to start a private practice from scratch. That was going to be my high ticket offer when I like entered med school. I was already planning this all out. But during med school, I really like didn't apply myself in the first place to like be competitive for ortho. I was always like, yeah, I should do research if I end up picking a competitive specialty. But I was always saying like, oh, I hope I don't want a competitive specialty. Like the whole time I was doing rotations, I was like, please something like stick out to me so I don't want to do ortho. So I don't know why I had that super weird mindset. Like with my obsessive personality, I think deep down, like I was never like probably that all interested. Like if I was like obsessed with being a physician in a certain specialty, I would have like gone research freshman year, first year of med school. But the fact that I didn't, like, I think that's like a big, honestly, like telling sign that there's some underlying passion. Okay, so anyway, January, didn't get the research year between ortho, fam med, or nothing. I had like two calls with like a physician slash professor at our school who's like, I love talking to students who are undecided. So like, let me know if you want to hop on a call. So I like told her everything. We also had a call with my like business elective or health leadership elective. And there's this one person who was super helpful. I asked to talk to him, got on the phone with him, and I laid it all out for him. And then we had this like other workshop, and there was this really nice physician, and I kept bringing up, like, because we were talking about like death and dying and like what our values are, and I kept bringing up, I was like, well, there's a 50% chance I'm not going to residency because I like really value like pursuing what you're most passionate about, and I don't want to have any regrets, and I'm fine doing the thing that's like not the norm. So at the end he's like, what is it about this? So anyway, I laid it all out for him. So I talked to 3+ people like from my school and told them all of the things about like, should I do family medicine just to get board certified? Like I don't really have any interest. Like when I looked up the residency, I was like looking up residency like schedules for their family medicine, and it looked awesome. Like I would enjoy a family medicine residency, but I don't want to be a family medicine doctor. There's a big difference. When you're a student and a learner, things are so fun, but like obviously like I want to be an entrepreneur and like call the shots, and like I have no interest in being employed by anyone. Like I will forever be, for the rest of my life, be my own boss. And so, but also I don't want to go to residency and right off the bat start this whole private practice. Like I already have a business, like that business like desire is satisfied. So like the whole private practice thing is now something I don't want to do. So, whew, I'm just, are you following? This is really rambling. Okay. Um, so when I was thinking of family medicine or nothing, those were the things I was thinking about. Like, okay, like looking up residency schedules, would I like this? Should I do it? Like just to get it out of the way. It's only 3 years. Like then I'll be board certified, but then like I'll be board certified, but I don't want to have a job. So like why would I do those 3 years? Like if I don't plan to be employed. So then I was like looking up jobs. I was looking up jobs for like ER physician or family med physician on Indeed, like literally just reading the descriptions and being like, could I picture wanting to do this when I graduate residency? And like, no. First off, I tried to go down, well, okay, maybe it's, I know that I hate the 8 to 5 because I did that as a lab tech after I graduated undergrad. And that was soul sucking. I think it's the worst thing on this entire planet to have the Sunday scaries every Sunday night. And then Monday morning, you're dreading your life when you drive to work. And then the whole time you're at work, you're looking at the clock and you're like, oh my gosh, it's at 4 p.m. And then it's 4 p.m. And then you live your life for a few hours. And then you wake up and you do it again. And then Friday comes and you're like, oh my gosh, it's a weekend. I can like actually have fun and enjoy my life. But then Sunday comes and then see where I'm going? Monday through Friday, 8 to 5, not for me. So I was like, okay, well, let's explore emergency medicine. And because I know that they have like the shift work where you can do like 4 shifts in a row or something and then be off for a long time, or you can do locums tenens. And like probably emergency medicine would be pretty good for that. So I was looking at locum tenens job. I don't know if I'm saying that right. Or like just like very like more choppy shift work for emergency medicine like that. And when I was reading the descriptions, like for example, I saw like, oh, you have to do 13 shifts a month. Like that's your minimum. And it's like, okay, well, again, like month to month, I have this minimum requirement. Like, so yes, it's more flexible, but I don't want somebody telling me to work 13 shifts a month. I want to work the exact number of shifts that I feel like working month to month. And like, sure, is there a way to do that? Yes. But like going through residency with the goal of working that physician job the least amount and trying to go again, like, I don't know. I don't have enough examples to see that it's possible. So maybe there's an example out there I'm missing, but I'm fine with that. If even if there is a way to, but then like if you don't work often enough, then are you really that good of a doctor? Like you need to work enough to be like, I want to be a good doctor. I want to have those skills. Like if you don't practice it, if you don't use it, you lose it. So I was like, I just don't think that, yeah, just no. I don't want to be employed. I don't want to be trying, I don't want to go to residency and then like just to be board certified and like literally never plan to use it. I don't want to become an emergency medicine physician and just see how little I can work because I want this flexible lifestyle. Like, so I think in January that those thoughts started, but I really like made the official decision, I think, when I was in Washington. So I have one Washington vlog from that time. And we were there like May and June, I think. So around May and June 2024 is when like those 5 to 6 months I was like back and forth and I was like maybe I was like yeah, family med, sports med, I'll like that. And then the Indeed thing, I'm like, no. So back and forth until May, June. At some point when we were in Washington for those 2 months, I was like, you know what? No, I'm doing none of it. I'm doing none of it. I'm not applying. I'm not at all. Why? Why would I do this? I was referring back a lot to the vision board I made for this year because I knew that I was going to be faced with this decision because January 1st, when I made my vision board, I hadn't really decided a specialty. There was still nothing like super clear to me. And yeah, that's why I put those things on my vision board. And in Washington, I was just really looking at it a lot. I was like, I have things like actions reflect interest. Okay, if I were really as passionate as I should be, I would have gotten research like first year of med school. It was in my mind and I just didn't, you know? And then what's another really good one? My search for soul in everything. So that was like a reminder to be like, we're not going for I like yeah, like I like this. Like, yeah, I would like family med residency. We're going for like what lights my soul on fire. And then I put find joy in all that you do. So just like pursuing the things that bring me joy. Like it's really as simple as that. And the things that bring me joy and the things I'm always trying to do more of are my business. So all those together, I decided there's like at some point I stopped going back and forth around May, June, and I was like, no more back and forth. I'm not applying to residency. And all I told was like my family and George. And then in September, we had these 2 weeks where they put us all on campus, and I hadn't seen any classmates. I hadn't told any of my med school. I don't, what am I supposed to send an email like, hey, I'm not applying to residency, just so you know. Like, I don't know if you care. I don't know. What was I supposed to do after that? So in September though, that's when ERA's applications were due, like at that end of the 2 weeks. That's why they brought us all back on campus. I'm gonna pause so this video doesn't get too long and then get deleted. Hey there, hope you're loving this video. Just wanted to let you know when I paused, I was like, oh, let me actually make this 2 parts and I'll upload 2 separate videos. Then I changed my mind. It's just all in this one video. But just so you know, because from now on, I reference this being 2 parts. And yeah, anyway, back to the video. I'm gonna start right where I left off, which was going to campus for those 2 weeks and like basically like the cat became out of the bag. Like that's when I told everyone, like Instagram, I shared all my stories, I told all my classmates that I interacted with, I told the like my school because they're like, hello, you haven't used this token for eras and why, and I didn't know what a token was, but I was like, oh crap, here it is, this is where we tell them. And I was scared and I don't know why, but I just was. And so I replied and I was like, oh, I was assuming that that token was for applying to residency and I'm not applying. And then they're like, oh, we didn't know that you were applying. Why? And so then I just sent like a medium-sized paragraph of like, well, I started this business before med school and then I was always planning to do both and run my business alongside residency. But turns out I'm most passionate about the business. And so ultimately, like I've been, I've known for a handful of months, but didn't really know like how to tell you guys. So never really said anything. Um, but yeah, I've known for a while and haven't really been planning to apply to residency. And they're like, oh, great for you. Good to know. So yeah, that's how I told my school. Actually, like, should I still need to be like, hey, are there any other alumni that haven't went the residency route? Like, I would be curious of like what others have done. It's not that I never plan to go to residency, to be clear. Like I said, this is not clickbait, but I love med school. I love learning. I like getting super nerdy about standardized exams. I like knowing this knowledge. I So there is like I could see myself in some way like but only if it like happens super naturally, like in which I feel like it probably will, is me using this in some way somehow. I don't know what that looks like. Like I don't want to be a medical consultant. I don't want to be like I am interested in law school. I love school. So I've made a pact that I have to, well, I don't, pact is too strong because I actually haven't like written this down or like told myself I need to follow this. But I've been saying like at least 2 years after graduation, no school because I really want to go to MBA school and I am so curious about law school. But again, like law school, don't want a job. Can you, anyway, so no Maggie, no, not yet. But like, okay, how could I use this? Like, again, I've been like Googling things and oh, venture capitalism is one that that physician I talked to for my business elective mentioned. And oh, and I talked to another orthopedic surgeon who like loved venture capitalism. Not for me, not interested in the slightest. So, like, I think all the traditional, non traditional things to do when you don't go to residency don't interest me, but like, maybe I stay on the admissions committee for my med school and I like somehow get involved in med school education or I use my knowledge in some way. I don't really know, but like I don't never want to think about medicine again, but I'm not going to become a board certified physician if that makes sense. Okay. So, where are we at? We're at the 2 week of med school or the 2 week time frame where like I'm telling like the whole world. So I tell people on Instagram, tell my school and then classmates. So when you go back to campus during ERA season, everybody is like, what specialty you're applying into, what specialty you're applying to. Anytime I did a Q&A on Instagram, it's like, what specialty are you applying into? So like for earlier in the year, I was just like ignoring those questions. And then later in the year, I was like, bam, that's when that week, those 2 weeks is when I told it, like actually answered that Q&A. And then when my classmates asked it, I was just like, yeah, so I have this business. And they're like, oh, that's so cool. And so, yeah, it was like honestly so fun to like finally tell everybody. It's not like it was a secret for a specific reason. It was more like, well, I wasn't around, we are not around classmates during fourth year. You're all doing your own thing. So I wasn't around school. I wasn't around classmates. I didn't want to share it on social media before my school knew. Um, and then within that 2 weeks, I just told all those people, and it was so fun to get to talk about my business that often because I kind of like I purposely like keep it on the down low. Like I don't care if people know that I have this social media and my business, and there's actually like a surprisingly high amount of my classmates that already know about my social media and I didn't know they know, and they'll be like, "Oh yeah, your social media." I'm like, "How do you know? I don't say anything about it." So it's not that I care that people know. It's like I think it's kind of cool to be able to DM and be like, have this big following, and like nobody even knows, like coming at you from the something like sneak attack, like you didn't even know. I don't know. I just think that's cool. So like I keep it very much on the DL. I don't usually talk about it at all on campus at school unless like my friends knew about it in some other way, and then I talk about it with just those people that I know. But for these 2 weeks, I was just telling everybody about my business, and it was actually really fun and cool. So that's when I like told the world. Okay, we've been on that topic for a while. So next, plans after graduation. So obviously I have not applied to residency. That is done. My classmates are currently in like their interview season and stuff, and holy moly, residency seems so complicated with like the signaling and the geographic and the tokens and the oh my gosh. I'm sure I'd figure it out if I were doing it. But so all my classmates are in interview season. I have two more like intense electives. Otherwise, I'm just trying to fill it up with like pretty easy electives. I have a 4 week AI, which I actually decided to do maternal fetal medicine, which terrifies me, but also excites me because OB was obviously my favorite. And then I have my 2 week ICU. Otherwise, for the rest between now and graduation, I'm just doing electives. I'm in a reading elective, which actually I need to write my essay today. Um, I'm in this Foundations of Doctoring elective where I just have to work with my preceptor for 48 hours over a whole semester. So, like by the end of the year. And I have the coolest preceptor ever. She's a PM&R doc, so physical medicine and rehabilitation. And she works at sports med clinic or in both sports med clinic / like pain clinics. And I get to like do procedures with her. And like we have the like whole like lead get up for the fluoroscopy x-ray things while she's doing the spine procedures. And then the sports med clinic is so fun, and she's just the coolest, most fun person ever. I just have the greatest time hanging out with her, so that's really fun. So that's what the rest of my like just like meeting my graduation requirements look like. I haven't asked if I have to do the residency boot camp, which apparently they're like, this is actually really rigorous and we want to prepare you to be the best residents in the country. And I'm like, And then I picked family medicine, which now I'm like, I don't really want to do that for family medicine. I should have picked surgery or OB, but I guess maybe it'll be fun. I don't know. So anyway, I don't know if I technically have to do it because I haven't asked, but I'm scared to know what the alternative would be anyway. Like I'd have to do something. And so like, I don't know. I don't want to sit on like I have truly genuinely enjoyed med school. So like I'm not really trying to get out of the residency boot camp. Um so yeah, that's the very last thing that ends like 2 weeks before graduation. And that's a month long. And then we'll graduate May like 19th or something. And our plans after graduation are probably to move to Washington. So if you saw my vlog or you've been keeping up on Instagram, you know we love Washington. That's where I lived before I started med school. And we moved there for 2 months when I just like didn't have any rotations or electives. And it was so hard to come back to Colorado. We love it. Traffic does suck, but I rarely leave the house, and we can go to the gym we're at the times where traffic's not that bad, so like it's not quite a factor for us, and we love it. So we'll probably move there because George has a business too, a couple entrepreneurs. And so he has a business in Washington. Also, we love the CrossFit gym in Washington. That's also by his business. So we'll probably end up there after graduation. But I don't actually hope to end up in Washington because I grew up as a horse girly and I plan to like minimum 10 acres. But honestly, at this point, I've been saying 40. Um, My 5-year vision is living in the Midwest where there's low cost of living. We have at least 10 acres, 2 horses, and I actually like literally made a 5-year vision board and I forced George to put pictures on it. So he has like a boat on there and like, what else did he put on there? I think he made me put like one that has like a picture of a four-wheeler in it. I can't remember his contributions, but so that is like my slash kind of his forced 5-year vision. So like, and when did I even make that? I think I wrote down when this was supposed to end. I think that's like by 2030. Yeah, by 2030, because I made this a few months ago. So my 5-year vision is to end up, yeah, like in the Midwest with the horses and the land and just owning this 7-figure business with a 60% profit margin, a small team, so 10 or less, like 10 at most. Actually, 9 would be the perfect number because then we're not even getting into double digits. So a team of 9, and I work like part time. Maybe there's times I work more when there's like some passion projects, but I'm able to take like a big trip like once per quarter, and we travel the world, and then yeah, that's the vision. That's what I'm going for. That's why I'm quitting residency, because that's what I'm going to have in 5 by 2030. That's the takeaway of this video of why I'm quitting medicine. Bam, we should just end there. Just kidding. Actually that was mainly the things that I wanted to share. My so that's the vision by 2020 2025. Again, my goal is 500K because, well, who's to say I won't hit it in 2024, but we're not quite on track. So 2025 is my year to make 500K. It sounds better since 2025, 500K. So that's the goal for 2025. We learned a lot this year of what worked and what didn't, and hopefully we'll hit that goal next year, especially with being more on track with Mediavine, affiliate, the blog has more traffic. So we'll see. There's no like exact playbook for specifically how to get there. And like I said, like there was this one training where we literally said, it was a training for how to scale to 500K, and all 4 examples that she used I'm in Momentum, which is also Amy Porterfield. So she pulled up these 4 examples. All 4 of them had really high ticket offers, or this person did like 50 in-person speaking events or something, and like that's not scalable. So like that's why I'm like, okay, we need a high ticket offer. How am I going to do that to where it's like a high ticket offer but not pre-meds, but also my entire following is pre-meds. So I think that's like a key to getting to the 500K mark for me. And then we're also starting ads, but having somebody do it for me is really expensive, and like that's but anyway, so those are some of the hurdles. But 2025, that's my year. 500K, we're gonna get there. And with a minimum of 30K months. So that's like a specific like thing to that goal is like we always have dips in the summer, and then I spend like I make 23,000 every month, which in January and February I did, but then we have those dips and I'm like screwed. So I'm not like, I gotta learn to, there's some things I need to learn still as a business owner. But yeah, so 2025, 500K minimum, 500K revenue with minimum of 30K months. Like every single month is 30K. And then with some high months to get us to that 500K, like in our high seasons. But that's like the goal, is to figure out how to like stabilize this income with the different income streams. So in conclusion, that was so much between the 2 parts, but one of my potential things that I will be offering in 2025 is business coaching. I have definitely like found specific aspects of business that I'm really good at. I can grow a social media following like it ain't no thing. I'm so good at Instagram. And also just as far as like setting up the funnel of like creating a course, getting your ideal clients to buy that course, and how to set up that sales system. That's like my jam. That is my jam. And if I charge $2,000 for my course, I'd already be hitting my goals, but I have to do it in a way that feels right to me. But all that to say, I will link below a business coaching waitlist if you want to start a side hustle. If you currently like have started, I get a lot of messages of like, hey, I see your income report of how much you made, and I have more of a following than you, and I haven't even monetized mine at all. Like, how are you doing this? So I've gotten messages like that, or just people starting like us, and they have a smaller following, and they're like, hey, can I pick your brain? How did you do this? How did you set up your business? Like, what does this look like? Can you give me some guidance? So I've been getting a lot of those messages, and I just wanted to have a place to start collecting people interested. And in 2025, I am brainstorming some things I might offer. Hope you enjoyed. Be sure to subscribe to stay along for the crazy journey, and I'll see you in the next video.